But man, oh, I can't wait to show you guys what I've been working on in the background. Like, oh, I've been very, I don't know if I want to say hard at work, but diligent. But man, oh, I can't wait to show diligent, diligently working in the background here to create something absolutely amazing. And the artificial intelligence even tells me so. That's cool when they say, wow, that's pretty comprehensive what you're building out. So let's get this party started. All right, everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. We appreciate y'all tuning in, especially if you're tuning in live there on YouTube land. My name is Robert Blakely. This is our Monday Mastermind sponsored by The Lost Transition. The Lost Transition is a place that we created over 4 years ago, at least 4 years ago. And it was a safe space, a community where great minds that think alike can come together, get some training, some mindset, some connections and stuff to be able to go from what we like to call the job to freedom. And by freedom, I like to talk about time freedom and in essence, just being able to do what it is that you want to do. So whether that's through traditional network marketing, whether that is through sales, whether that is through running or owning your own business, those are the types of things that we talk about. So we meet here every Monday, 12 Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate all of you that are live here, all my wonderful people that I love to experience life with. So if you'd like to join us, you can join us by going to live.thelosttransition.com. Come join us. It's way more fun here. The way we start the show off is we pull from the audience. I love to hear people's wins from last week. We get to celebrate their wins. We do that for a reason. Yes, there is a method to my madness and everything that we do here. And then I've got a little training piece that we're going to talk about that I think, you know, I talk about this all the time and how we come up with these topics, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy today's topic. This is week 35. I'm calling it Programming Momentum. And what we're going to talk about is how you can use numbers psychologically to program yourself and or program momentum within your life, your business, and things like that. So should be a lot of fun. That being said, let's start the show off. Who wants to talk about their wins? Line up, raise your hand. I want to hear all about it. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Okay, Vicky, talk to us, my friend. I know you got some exciting stuff that you had talked about last week. Do share.
Well, happy Labor Day,
Yes, happy
right
Labor
holiday
Day.
in my brain.
Yeah, I'm glad
Uh,
you guys joined
good
us on a Labor
morning,
Day.
good afternoon. Yeah, I've had such a busy week. It's been exciting and hopping and just unbelievable. And one of the biggest pulls that I think that's happened this week is I think it is so cool because of learning all the sales and the psychology and the mindset that when you're having conversations with people, you're actually you're recalling all of this as you're talking to them. It is just really cool. I
Oh,
love
I
it.
love
I
that.
had 34 yesterday. This is yesterday alone. 34 new leads and 11 signups to follow up with. So I had a lot of conversations going on yesterday.
Love
Not
it.
converting them yet, but I'll give it time. I know you give them the information and you back up a little bit. I mean, so I can't close like you, but I don't give up on that yet.
You're getting there. You
I'm
will get
still
there.
learning. Yeah.
Look, the fact that you're recognizing those things as you're having the conversations, that's perfect because that means that you're learning and you're digesting that information, especially if you're able to see it physically. That's a
Oh,
powerful
right.
sign there, my friend. Congrats.
Hmm.
What else?
So
Sounds like
I'm excited. So I haven't even gone to look yet today because I've been busy doing laundry and stuff because I worked a lot yesterday on talking to everybody. So I had to get some things done
yeah.
because we have company coming for Labor Day this afternoon. So I needed some clean clothes.
I totally
So,
understand that.
yeah. So So, but yeah, I'm really appreciative of everything I've learned here. It's been such great value, and I just really appreciate it so much, Robert. Thank you.
Well, you know you're like a sister to me, my friend, and I appreciate you sharing with us, and I'd love to see all the amazing things you're doing. And I think of the song and it's like I change up the lyrics a little bit. And I think of you like, I'm just a lead machine and I won't work for nobody but me. Oh, I'm
I've
just a
been singing
lead
"Joy to the
machine.
World" all morning. I don't know where that's coming from, but that's what I've been singing all morning. So it's
I
funny.
love it, love it, love it.
Mhm.
I love your energy too, girl. Stay on that high vibration. Lots of great
You
things
got it.
happen. And you're going to love what we're talking about today. I'm pretty certain. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Oh, way to start the show and get the energy going, my friend. Virgil, what you got, brother?
To make it a tradition to go after Vicky because I love what she
Sure.
says. It's always also always lining up with things that I'm also experiencing. So I love it. Yeah, and you said it right. Programming momentum. I don't know how you do it, but you know where I need to go because I've been counting the months since the change, and today is like the close of the fourth month, so a trimester plus one. And the first part was really coming to terms with the change and falling into the new life or ecosystem. And the past weeks have been just that, maintaining that these decisions and exploring and consolidating these things, and definitely has been uh, a life-changing experience. Well, it is a life-changing experience, and keeping pace or keeping momentum in each direction is becoming that challenge, right? The calendar, but also keeping the pace itself each time you engage in something new. I am actually looking or starting to fear a little bit at engaging into new project because I'm like, okay, well, there's going to be a momentum divide there. I have so much time or energy to be able to do everything right. So I'm coming back to, I think, falling into the new life, this new transition, owning your calendar, owning your steps, and making sure to follow up with the same energy each time it starts. So that momentum is definitely something that I need, and it's a major win in itself, being able to be consistently following these decisions or these paths. And it's just creating a series of small wins for me. And there are major, for example, the team issue I raised yesterday. I'm learning a lot from that, and they are coming together. The support system around what I'm doing with my contractors, because I can't even call them bosses now, they're contractors for which I independently chose to work and receive commission off what I create. I'm getting a full support and full engagement from them. Oh, even though they are abroad, and there's just so many new opportunities that are opening up, even bringing out everything that I have in heart to do. Like, for example, this fashion thing, I've been connecting all past week with, well, people that I would have called stars a few months back, artists that been watching and seeing growth and kind of step back. And now I'm in the same room with these people and talking on a friendly level and with an opening into more connection, more relationship building. So it's been a trip, I would say, and yeah, momentum and programming that to stay constant in each axis is becoming the new challenge. So I'm ready for your nuggets today for sure. And that was
Well,
me.
well, I appreciate you sharing first off, and congratulations on all your success. And I love your story. And if people don't really know uh, Virgil's story, you should reach out and find out a little bit more about Virgil. But in essence, what I love about your story, Virgil, and our whole collusion, if you will, is that you were already doing this. That's the thing. You were already doing this, but you're working for somebody else, getting a paycheck from somebody else. So it shouldn't be too difficult of a switch for you. It's just getting into that right mindset, and then like you said, hey, realizing now I'm the boss. Now that's all part of stepping into your leadership and stepping into your power, brother. So we're very appreciative of all the stories and things that you share, especially your wins there, man. So keep it up, man. I love seeing what I'm seeing. You're just phew, on an upward path, brother. Onward and upward. Thank you for sharing. You're
Thank you
amazing,
guys for
brother.
sharing
You're
your
amazing.
energy. Only because you guys are fueling me the right way, I would say. Because, I mean, yeah, you've been there.
The community really does matter. It really, really does. Right? If you hang around the right people, the right mindset, there's nothing stopping any one of us, right?
Yeah.
It's those that have the mentality that think, oh, I've got to get this done and think that they have to do it all alone. That's not the case. There's so many people that are out there willing to help others. It's just whether or not we're willing to accept that help, right? So appreciate all of you guys that come here every week and tune in. That's all part of it, right? So love it, love it, love it. Keep it going, brother. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. As my as we used to sing in cadence in the military. Who's next? Who wants to share? We still got a few moments. Rita, I guess. Hi, Tony. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Curtis. Hi, Jorge. Hi, Keisha. Didn't get to say hello.
Hi.
Any wins y'all want to share?
All right, since nobody's saying anything, I
I
guess I'll
know,
go
right?
last.
Everybody's all quiet on a Monday. About to shake them up and wake them up.
Well, I'm not going to shake anybody up or wake anybody up because I have had labor less week. A labor less week. And I say that because what comes to mind is the expression slow down to speed up and being also ambitiously lazy. Wake up when I'm done sleeping. And I put that into practice considering my hormones are doing what they're doing or whatever it is. But my number shows up consistently. For me, the same number and my sister. So I'm paying attention. I just released whatever the fight was and just go with the flow. And I'm feeling a lot better because I'm not fighting, no longer fighting it anymore. All right. So I did learn a few things that stick to me, that stick with me. And one of them is about the algorithms. I used to get pinged all the time when people were posting things. And I noticed when I was not active, and I have not been, was not active, I stopped getting notifications. And I may have heard that along the way, but now it's imprinted, which means when you start, you need to put your nose to the grindstone and keep it going because it's can be a beast. And with three different pages, Facebook pages, you constantly keep clacking and trying to. So I'm like, all right, this is the last day of no labor week. So I will begin tomorrow with a plan using the instruments that Virgil has created and with the knowledge that I have learned. So not every week is like, hey, and Vicky and Virgil, is kudos to you guys. I meant to say that at first. Kudos, 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 super kudos. But thanks for setting the example. And I will be on it next week. That's my confession to the poet who didn't know it.
I love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have anything they want to share? No? Come on. Don't be shy. I could share, I guess, one or two little things. Again, I'm thankful that I know this is gonna probably sound weird to some of you guys, but I'm actually very thankful for this puppy that we got. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but it's different for me. Um, and I'll get a little heartfelt so that you guys understand, because maybe you guys don't know the story. Uh, in essence, as a kid, like I didn't have a pet growing up. I wanted to have a dog, and I begged my mom for a dog. And my mother finally agreed, and she said it had to be an outdoor dog because she's always been allergic to animals, this, that, and the other. So when I ended up getting the dog, I tried to build a house for it, and that was with some cinder blocks and an old mattress that we had thrown out in the backyard. And the dog used what I had created as the house and proceeded to jump over the fence and run away. So this whole time, I didn't get to experience that whole, growing up with a puppy, other than we had another puppy, but it was my dad's dog, right? It wasn't mine. It was like his that he got for the family. We all got to enjoy it. But it's again, like to me, it's something that I didn't get to experience growing up that I'm really glad that I get to experience now. And it's funny too to see not only, the fact that I sit there and I talk about uh, body language of people, it's interesting to also watch the body language of pets, especially dogs, and seeing them, especially like DOG, getting along with this new one. She's a little bit older in a breed. He's a young little puppy, so he wants to jump in her face. So there's some growling that's involved. Of course, Mama's over there being very protective of the babies, so doesn't want to get them together too close. It's like, look, you got to let them be dogs. So it's been an interesting, funny week to watch that interaction as well. But just the love that you get from animals, man, it's so amazing. So anyway, that's all I got. Keisha, what you got? And I was just buying time too. I got my last three slides done. Yeah, ADHD working overtime.
Mhm. Nice. So for me, my mom was out of town for the last 8 days, so I got some time to decompress.
Nice.
And I actually got a lot of work done because with building this app, I had to learn four new processes that I was not familiar with. And I learned things quickly, but it's still a lot. You get brain fried a lot because I'm learning Airtable, I'm learning Notions, I'm learning ClickUp. I'm building bots. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
have my bots.
totally.
My bots are set. So
You and I
now I
could
have to get.
exchange notes, I'm sure.
So I got my I got all my Airtable set up and I got my Notion set up. Now I got to get them to talk to each other. So that's been fun because I'm literally learning each component like few minutes before I do it. So it's been
That's exactly
interesting.
what you're talking about. Yeah. Got to get the front
It's
end,
much,
talk to the back end. Didn't know that it needed Flask and this and that and
yeah,
the next
yeah.
and
And then
this
a couple of times I got smart and I made a couple
and
of forms to make it easy to input the data. I was like, oh look, I can do this.
this.
And then Notions is one of those places where you're only limited by your imagination as far as how you put something together.
Right.
And I realized how much I love structure at that moment.
Yeah. You and I both, my friend. I love, I mean, the artificial intelligence, the stuff we have now, man. Imagine if we would have had that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where we might be. Like, it's just crazy to conceive and even think about it. It's just it blows my mind,
Yes.
especially
So
since
I
I
created a
adopted.
manual.
Hmm?
I created a manual for each section
Cool.
so
Good.
that if I ever hire a VA or whatever, I can just say here, so I don't have to sit there training them. You
Yeah.
literally saw every step I took when I made this so that you can turn around and sit there and that I'm used to. I can do SOP on difficult things and make it so a monkey can sit in the seat when I leave. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because my brain works if this then this. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's not so for me it's still linear even though there are 50 options.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, totally.
So I'm able to take that and create a user's manual, which is what most people couldn't do.
Are
Because
you going
within
to
the
do
system
video
we
and
built,
audio as well for us visual people?
Yes. So
Yeah.
every time I do stuff like that, I turn around and I put it into Notebook LM and I create a video
Good.
version of the training. So it's
Good.
been kind of fun because Notebook LM has been making it so that I can speed learn a lot of things. Like
Good.
I can literally dump 10, 15 videos in here and say, summarize this and teach me. And it'll give it to me in like a 15, 20-minute synopsis, breaking it down in parts. And I'm
Reminds
like,
me of Saturday Night Live skit. Evelyn Woodhead speed reading course. If you
exactly.
know, you know.
So yeah. So I decided that all this geek out that I have to keep doing in order to get this stuff done,
Right.
I had to learn to monetize it. So therefore, everything I did, I created a how-to on it and I put it all together so it'll all be there.
What's your time frame on getting it wrapped up?
I stopped doing that to myself. I genuinely stopped doing that to myself. I
Okay.
literally have been making sure I work on it for a certain amount of time every day,
Sure.
and it'll get to where it needs to go. Because if I keep giving myself timelines and then something a monkey wrench gets thrown in it, I found that I was getting too frustrated with myself.
Let me ask you this question, then I'll rephrase it better. What is your percentage to completion?
Actually, I am about realistically at the 40% mark.
Okay,
And
cool.
that's only because I still have one other app that I have to link back into it.
Sure.
But the good thing is that once it's done, it's push button stupid. Like you can literally just say, do this.
Love it. Love
And because I'm building it the way I am, all of the bots are able to answer any question I can answer because it has all of the same data that I do.
it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, congrats, girl. Good job. Can't wait to
Thank
see
you.
you get to that 100% completion, get it launched, and start monetizing it. Good stuff.
I definitely need it done before Christmas, but I want it done before, way sooner than that.
Yeah, that'll be
But
a
if
good
it's still
time.
not done by Christmas, I will be upset.
Yeah, and then do your best to give yourself a 90-day window for launch.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Awesome. Looking forward to
Okay.
seeing it. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else got any last final shares? If not, I can go into our content portion. I got some, like I said, some fun stuff that I want to talk and share with you guys about. So let me preface this before we get started, right? This is week 35. We're talking about programming momentum. The things that I tend to share with you guys come from life's experience of things that I've learned, things that I'm introduced to. If you haven't been around me long enough, I'd like to say the way my universe works is kind of funny. And I do what I can to pay attention to what my universe is telling me and the things that I see around me. Ergo, that's how I come up with these uh, different topics that we talk about every single Monday. And we have been talking about for over 4 years. You know, when I go back and I look at content, especially when it comes to the sales world or even the psychology or put those both together, there's a lot of content that you can go and talk about and create. But then at some point, it's regurgitated content, right? Or it's said a different way, spun a different way, so that maybe triggers a different type of vibe to where maybe a dot might get connected versus the last time you heard the content, the dots maybe weren't connected, right? So there's different variations, is what I'm getting at. But one of the things that we haven't really dug into that I love, and especially helps on the psychology side, and yes, call it if you want to. Maybe it's a little spiritual or esoteric, if you will, but is numbers, right? And the reason that I'm so fascinated by numbers, and Rita and I have these conversations all the time, is like understanding the matrix and how it works. And I'll even go back to how I always talk about as a kid, what I used to do was just, I love to take things apart to see how they work. Well, what I'm getting boiled down to, right, so that I'm not just blabbering a bunch of words here, is that numbers have significance in our lives, whether we choose to believe it or not. Even the last slide, I'll give you a preview on that. about Nikola Tesla and talking about if you understand the numbers 3, 6, and 9, then you'll understand the principles of the universe, right? Again, very deep topic that we can dive into on this. But my take on this, what I want to share with you guys, is actually going through and using numbers to your advantage so that you can program your psychologically program yourself to get and do better things, or maybe to help close the loop, which we've talked about before, right? But it's understanding these numbers and how you can use those to your advantage, hence programming momentum, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. You should be able to see my slides at this particular point in time, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit about programming momentum and turning numbers into triggers. So you're definitely going to want to take some notes. We'd like to drop gold nuggets and gold bars here. I want you to be very open about this. And when I ask, feel free to come off the mic and, answer whatever the question is asked at the time. I want this to flow in such a way that we all get some greatness from this, and it fuels our day and our week, and we start looking for these different things that we're going to talk about. Part of this goes back to a conversation which I know Rita again will understand when we talk about awareness, right? And we talk about the red car syndrome. For those of you that don't know or haven't heard about this, right? As an example, I have a red 2018 Dodge Challenger. Okay. I did not see as many Dodge Challengers on the street as I do now that I have a Dodge Challenger, especially red ones. Okay. It goes back to the conversation about awareness. So when you have awareness, spatial awareness, and just you awareness within your universe, because sad and unfortunately, most people aren't aware of even 2 feet around them. And what do I mean by that? Like, think about people that are in the grocery store walking around just oblivious to the person that's right behind them or right next to them, right? I'm sure we can all understand or relate to what I'm talking about. Somebody cuts you off, they're just not even paying attention. Next thing you want to know, you're dropping an A bomb or an F bomb on them, right? So, understanding spatial awareness is also something that I learned in the military and understanding focus. Like, so there's a lot of different things that go into this, is what I'm telling you. Okay. But when you can see and understand these and they all connect and all those dots connect and they all make sense, then it's going to help, like, literally help catapult you, what you're thinking, how you're thinking. It'll literally like change your life if you allow it. Right. And that's again, part of this too is because I like to say numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, which is another reason why you hear me talk about, especially if you're in the inner circle, about gathering the data. Because if you never gather that data, you never know what those numbers are. You can't do anything to affect those numbers, right? So that's the whole preface of what I'm getting into is understanding numbers and then knowing how to take those numbers and turning them into triggers. You can even do that if you're looking at a basic spreadsheet for basic team information, how many people you have on your team, what your income is for that team, right? And then look at those numbers and say, whoa, this is way below where I need to be. And instantly, that's a trigger. I need to get my ass in gear, right? So we can do those types of things. But why do numbers work at the root of things? Again, there's a psychology to them. This is what I'm explaining to you before I show you the slide. There's a deep psychology to numbers if you allow them to work in your benefit. There's an anchoring to numbers. There's a primitive effect that we have, especially if we pay attention to numbers. And on that tip, I ask, raise your hand or say yes. How many of you are like me that see that number 1111? Or maybe it's 1234, right? Certain numbers that keep popping up into your life. Maybe you've explored this, maybe you haven't. I have. I've explored it for quite a while. But not only is the psychological part of it, but there's a spirituality that goes behind it too. You heard me mention and say angel numbers, right? That's what they're typically known as. But there's a synchronicity behind them. And again, if you can take these numbers and put them into your life and utilize them as triggers, they can help you do things that maybe you didn't want to do before. But with that spirituality, it'll give you more alignment. And then there's a practical application, which we're going to talk about. It's just practical triggers that you can use to help get whatever that perspective is. Hopefully, it's a new one on how you feel. Maybe it's something that's stopping you from doing something in your life. And if you can use these triggers in your life, maybe that will help you get around those things. So that's my hope for you anyway. If nothing else, you take something out of this, find out what your numbers are, start having that spatial awareness, start paying attention, and then maybe on these Monday masterminds, come back and tell us about it. Talk to us about it. Hey, I had this number that came in. I didn't know what it was about. We practiced, we did this, and this is what happened. I think it was partially because of that, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Here's my example so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from this on my level, right? So my power code, as an example, is 719. That's because that's my birthday. I was born July 19th. I could get even deeper and I could say I was born July 19th, 1969. It was the day before we set foot on the moon. It's supposed to be a Cancer, and Cancers are ruled by the moon. There's this little story that goes behind my date of birth. The other funny thing to mention to you guys, because it just popped up into my head, there was a time when I lived in Vegas and I would go down to the gambling table. I like roulette. That's my game right there. And I would go down there every day with 40 bucks, put it on my number, 7 and 19, and I would walk out of there with sometimes 120, 140, 160. Okay. And I was able to do that almost on a daily basis. And it was because of these numbers. Those were my numbers. Part of why I'm telling you this is because if I'm out there now in Vegas, I know that I'm looking for those numbers. You with me? I'm connecting those dots. So as an example, if I go and there's four roulette tables there and I don't see my number 7, 19, or 69, that tells me that game, that specific spot is not for me. I should not play there. Everybody with me so far? Right? But when I go and I see that, getting some goosies as I say this. Whoo! It's on fire because now I'm connected to that matrix, if you understand what I'm getting at. It's those numbers that are running that you see, that you have that spatial awareness that you can connect to and then say, ooh, oh, there's my numbers. Something's good gonna happen. Now what are you doing? You're literally subliminally talking to your subconscious to say that when I see those numbers, something's good gonna happen. You put it out to the universe, you're resonating that vibration out there. Guess what? Something happens. Everybody with me so far? I'm not born yet, am I? Right? But here's my power code, how it works, because it's 719, is behind those numbers, there's a meaning, right? And I always keep seeing these numbers, and it's built right into my birthday. So it's a signature of intuition, action, and completion. Number 7 is for intuition. Number 1 is for action. Number 9 is for completion. Oh, excuse me. Isn't that kind of neat, don't you think? Rita, go ahead.
How do you know what the numbers represent?
Oh, stick around and I'm going to show you and tell you.
Okay.
Why, I'm glad you asked, my friend. I'm glad you asked. But so, and again, this is something that we're going to do today, and you'll get your own numbers. And it could potentially be your birth date as well. I don't know what your numbers are going to be, but you can create whatever numbers you want. And when you see those, again, it's more of a trigger to psychologically program yourself to receive. Get it? Make sense, Rita? when it
Yeah,
said,
I was making reference to that in one of my wins and seeing the number show up. And for me and also my sister, so this must be a group effort because it was weird. And so, and now you're talking about it, which makes it even more weird.
well, that's why when you said that, I was gonna say you're gonna love today then because of what you had said. I picked up on that, by the way.
I'm like, you
And
picked up.
isn't that weird?
Yeah, I'm not going
We
to
didn't
say
have a conversation about this, right?
no, we did not, which is even weirding me out even more. So I'm listening with bated breath, as they used to say back in the day.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
No doubt.
Here's here's another one that comes to my mind and my visual cortex, which goes into my brain, is 1234. I don't know about you guys. Anybody ever see 1234 at all? Yeah.
No,
So
but
12,
my numbers are in that combo.
okay, that's still cool, right? We're gonna learn more about numbers as we progressively go through these slides. But 1234, I see that all the time. Now, what does it mean? Well, there's one, two, three, four. There's a natural flow or steady progression, right? So if and when I see 1234, there's a trigger that I can say to myself mentally, I move forward in order, steady, clear, and aligned. Write it down if you need to. Take a screenshot, whatever, right? And then what's the action? Every time I see one, two, three, four, I need to take the very next step, whatever it is that I need to do. Because if I'm seeing that, again, there's me feeding into the matrix and it's telling me you're on the right path for you to see this. It's a sign. Take the next step forward. Woo! Woo! Get some damn goosebumps rolling all up in here.
I'm having the opposite reaction because mine are backwards. So
That's okay. Stay tuned. Manifestation sequence, okay? Think three or act two, win one. So, in essence, it doesn't necessarily have to be four numbers, right? It could be three numbers or it could be two. When you see your number, figure out what it is that that number is trying to tell you, right? And then run the sequence in your mind and then have some type of affirmation so that when you see it, you say something, right? When I act, I win, as an example, whether that number is 432 or 321 or even 32. When you see it, you say something like, ooh, when I act, I win. When I act, I win. When I act, I win. You understand what I'm getting at? And, ooh, yes, Rita?
keep going.
Okay. I'm getting goosebumps on that one. Here's what the numbers mean, okay? Ones is new beginnings. Focus on thoughts. Two can be balance, partnerships, trust. Three, creativity, growth, expansion. Four, stability, foundations, protection. Five, change, transformation, freedom. Six, I don't like that number. None of us do. 666, but balance between material and spiritual, believe it or not. 777, spiritual growth, divine guidance, abundance, prosperity, and flow for eights. Completion, closer, new cycle for nine. So write down your number, everyone. Go ahead and write down your number. And then let's take a look at it. Rita, if you like, you can be our little guinea pig. What were your numbers? And then let's see about putting those together. Were they three, two, and one? And it's telling you you have creativity, you have balance, and you're looking at new beginnings. And it's not as bad as you might have thought it was. Keisha, go ahead.
I find this conversation interesting because my kid and I and her husband, we play this game called Angel Number.
Love it.
Right? Anytime we're working on something throughout the day and we see an angel number, we have a group chat where we throw that number in, and the first to throw it in, wins. Or who throws in the most for the day wins.
Mhm.
But And we look at all of the numbers, the angel numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4s, the 3, 2, 1s, the whole 9 yards. But for me, my numbers that tell me I'm on the right path or to go where in that direction are the numbers 2 and 11,
Yeah.
right? I'm really into numerology in general. So even when I'm doing business with people and stuff like that, I run the numerology report and I
Yeah.
see what they are because it helps me communicate with them because
Sure.
not everybody communicates the same,
Right.
right? I'm I'm um I'm an 11, which is a master number because the numbers are 1 through 9. I am here to serve society but not be its servant. I'm here to teach and to guide but not carry.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny how it resonates in my personality because it's always been that way for me. And when I started learning about numerology and how it applies to life in general, is how I realized how much I am aligned with my number sequence. And because of that, I do it with my clients, I do it with my partners, and it works. It,
Yeah.
it really works to help me communicate with people on their level with where they're at. Because we all tend to make people come to our understanding, but if you really want to make headway, you have to find them where they're at first and
One.
then bring them to your understanding. You
One.
can't assume they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be the first to tell you my brain runs on a different track.
Sure. Right. Right. Yeah.
I know I'm not normal. And that can be good or bad. Take it how you want
Yeah, but
to.
who's
You
to
know what I'm
say
saying?
what's normal though? That's the thing I always
That's my
like to say.
that was my secondary point.
Yeah.
Normal is relative,
Right.
so numbers mean a great deal to me. It's again the game I play the most often.
Mm.
Even like if I'm doing something and particular number is jumping out to me often during that day, I realize that I will look up the number. What does this number mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
I have numbers that just for a day they're popping up everywhere. I see them everywhere I look. And I have other days where it's like if I have to make a choice, I look for double numbers, period. Because double numbers, if I have to choose between A or B, you know what I'm saying? Whichever one has that double number tells me that's the direction I need to go because that's how the universe and I decided we're going to communicate.
Right. And I love
And
that.
that's, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But
Totally.
yeah,
100%. That's
so
what
so
I'm
this
talking
one,
about. Mhm.
so yes,
Yeah.
numbers talk to me a lot. So
Okay, and cool. And Vicky down here as well, she put her numbers in there. So let's say 998864, 529 in essence is her 3 digits, right? So I love that. So five, you look at five as change, transformation, and freedom. Two, balance, partnerships, and trust. Nine, completion, closure, and new cycle. Like I love that. So where's the 529? Is that your date of birth, Vicky? Yeah. And do you ever see 529 like in the morning, in the afternoon? You see it in your clock? What do you see it?
I don't know anything about all this number stuff. I put the numbers that always in my life down there so you can see what they are.
Yeah.
But this is all new to me, so I'm
So what do
absorbing
you
it.
what do you think about it? What do you think about it so far?
I think it's pretty cool. I would like to get deeper into it.
Yeah. Jorge asks, is zero considered a number? Technically, no. Zero is nothing, right? And I guess we got some, excuse me, some July babies. Tony of 725, that's your birthday. Mine's July 19th. Catherine, July 26th. Yeah. July babies. So it says that seven, spiritual growth, divine guidance, two, balance, partnerships, trust, change, transformation, freedom. How about you, Tony? Do you see 725 in the morning or 725 at night?
Yeah, this whole thing of looking at numbers like this is pretty new to me. I don't really look at number sequences.
Okay.
I just know that this is a number that I use a lot, and it is my birthday. I also use um, a combination like with 48 in there, the year.
Sure.
Um,
For
but
lottery and stuff?
huh?
For lottery and stuff?
No, I don't play the lottery. But yeah, this is really interesting to me. I
Good.
like uh I it's fascinating,
Good.
and I'm interested in learning more about it.
Good.
But I never really thought about the significance of particular numbers meaning anything.
Sure.
But
It's an interesting topic when you get exposed to it. Again, part of my job, at least that's what I believe, is on the psychology side of things, is to open up your brains a little bit, get you thinking different ways, especially if I can get you away from the normal way of the the programming. Let's call it what it is, right? Because if you're stuck in that programming, you'll never get any of this. And once you get this, like, there's just so many amazing things you could do once you're not tied into that bad headspace or the mindset, really. You know, you hear everybody talk about mindset and how important it is. It really, really is. So thank you for sharing that, Tony. And then Catherine 726, right? So the spiritual growth, divine guidance, balance, partnerships, trust, and then balance between material. Like I don't know. For me, again, it's a lot of 1111 I see. I see 1234. I see 719. Those are big numbers. And then 69, of course, because of the year that I was born. Virgil says 357 are the numbers that work for me. Three, creative growth, expansion. Five, change, transformation, freedom. Seven, spiritual growth, divine guidance. Uh,
I haven't I think I'm going to start paying attention to that, see how these numbers pop
yeah,
in or pop out. But me, I tend to experience them. For example,
sure,
it might be a little tacky, but three for me is a number that I operate by. And even recently, in the team building exercise that I was in, and comparing it to previous team building experience, as soon as we're more than three on the decision board, things tend to run amok. That has a tendency of being something that I notice. So when I ever start looking at making decision groups, I try to limit it to three people,
sure,
and five is the number. I started looking at numbers very earlier on when I started the brand and the graphic design thing, because I was trying to correlate everything from the circle, its value in number, to the square or the triangle. And numerology was something that was weaved into creation at one point. And I started looking at it also at a spiritual level. You can't deny that numbers patterns are spiritual, if not just divine, in a way that they are at the basis of everything, the Fibonacci, the perfect ratio, creating and such. So I experience these numbers more than I see them, but I have to
sure.
start paying attention to how they pop out in the universe or in the things before me, because I tend to experience them more. Certain things will have an impact on me, sequence of numbers, for example, in the way I live my own day in life, and it's definitely something that I have to explore a little bit more, but it's very present in what I live.
No, I totally understand. I mean, the whole purpose for this conversation this Monday again is to get your minds thinking a different way and mostly getting you to that point of awareness. Because most people don't get to that point of awareness. You know, Rita and I joke about this, and I tell her it's like the Matrix, and when you see it, it's you can't unsee it, you know, and when you understand these different things, and especially on the psychology side of things for sales, people are going to act a specific way. Once you've seen them act a specific way, it's like you already know what to expect. That's why none of this comes difficult to me at all. I already know what I'm going to run into. I can have, you know, a conversation for 2 minutes with the person and tell right away. Okay, is it an apple, an orange, a coconut? What direction do I need to take? All that fun stuff, right? For this, though, what I want to just make sure that we're driving the right point home. I want you to find and see what those numbers are so that when you see those numbers, you can identify those numbers and use them as triggers to move forward. Okay, just so we're clear. So when you see a 357 or your 725 or 726 or whatnot, that's the point in time where you're supposed to recognize the awareness and then say, okay, I see it, I recognize, thank you, right? I'm moving forward. Talking to your spiritual guidance, talking to your universe, talking to your God, whatever you want to call it, right? But if you don't have that awareness and that connection, then you're walking around like that person in the grocery shop that's not paying attention 2 feet in front of them. Make sense? That's really what I want to drive home on this as far as the point that I'm trying to make, right? You have to make it personal. Pick a number that's meaningful to you, whether it's your birthday or whatever it is, but have a positive message or a motto that goes and connects with that, and then program it to a specific action that happens when you see that number. Make sense? Right? Because once you go, as it says here, together, we move with clarity, action, and impact. But if you don't have that clarity, then how are you going to take the right action that's going to create and make that impact? Right? So we ourselves have to have clarity. I'll give you an example of a friend of mine that I can think of right now, and it's a round Earth versus flat Earth conversation, and I love the guy to death. But the latest conversation, I see him saying just, no, this is just the way it is. And I try to tell him, I said, look, the way that you're acting, you're very close-minded to saying that you know it all and that that's the way it is, yet none of us can prove whether it's round or flat, right? But my point is that it doesn't make me want to do business with the guy. I've known him for 15 years, but when I see the shit that he's posting out there, it's not like, if you post something out there, it doesn't make me want to run and do business with the guy. Because I could see us just having maybe potentially arguments in the past. Well, maybe not, because him and I are adults and we can have a conversation. But my point is that when we have that awareness, we see those numbers and we can tie them to something that moves us forward in the right direction, then we're going to get more out of life, right? That's helping us get from that job to that time freedom and doing what we want out of life. So we have to make it personal. Now, when it comes to business application, here you go. The numbers have changed slightly, but we're going to go from 1 to 8. Here's another thing that you can tie into those numbers that we just threw out there on the board. Right? This is all ones, start a fresh outreach. Twos, follow up, build a connection. Three, create content. Four, review systems. Five, pivot or launch new. We'll move 7, put 8, check revenue, attract abundance. If you want to add like 666, I really wouldn't, but you can. If you want to add 777, by all means, put it out there and put something that's behind it that when you see it, you're going to do it. If you want to add 999, by all means. If you want to change it up and have maybe it's a 321, that's the day you're going to create content, follow up, and start a fresh outreach. Maybe it's a 428. I don't know. Again, this is all about opening up your minds to see and connect with whatever numbers that you're physically seeing, not my numbers, yours, so that you have that spatial awareness and you're talking to your universe and you're in the matrix or breaking out of it, whichever, however you want to look at it, right? But when you see those numbers, again, I'm trying to drive this point home, use them to trigger an emotion that creates some kind of forward movement, whether that's, doing a fresh outreach, finding those 5 people per hour, whether it's creating the content for the day, whether it's reviewing your systems, going back, looking at your data, looking at the numbers, whether it's checking your revenue, because you don't want to be in looking at your revenue every single day, every single hour. Oh, did I get another sale? Did I get another sale? Did I get another sale? Like that's just going to give you the wrong energy, right? So, anyway, Here's maybe a group affirmation for you guys. Write it down if you need to. Right? When I see the sign, I act. When I act, I win. Say it with me. Come on. Say it with me. When I see the
When I
sign,
see the sign, I
I
act.
act.
When I act,
When I
I
act,
win.
I win.
Mm.
Write it
When I
down.
see the sign, I act. When I act, I win.
You
Write
know,
it down.
some of us aren't that talented that we can write and speak at the same time.
Well, that's why I said, after you speak it, write it down. I mean, it's not hard to remember, right? I see the sign, I act. When I act, what happens? I win. Even me saying that, I don't know, guys. Like, say it out loud. I get goosebumps, man. I feel the emotion behind it. I don't know. Did you feel that, Virgil?
Yeah,
If not,
it's a
then say
powerful
it
mantra.
again with
Yeah.
purpose. Say it so you mean it, right?
When
And
I see
that's
the
going
sign,
back.
I act, and when I act, I win. It's a powerful mantra.
It is, right? Like,
Yeah.
holy crap. I got I got goosebumps just when you said it just now. Like, what a great affirmation. If nothing else, there's your gold brick
Absolutely.
dropped in your lap. Write it down. Say it. When you see your number, hey, when I see the sign, I act. When I act, I win. Now, what are we doing? We're programming that subliminal mind so that when I see that sign, boom, I act. When I act, I win. Even hear the cheer, the crowd cheering in the background, after you say it, I win.
It
Telling
brings
you.
me back to that conversation you also had about the signal, right? When I see the signal, I act, and when I act, I win. When I hear the signal, when I see the sign, I think it's so powerful. This one, yeah.
I saw the sign. It opened up my eyes. Lame stuff here. One last slide, and then I'll let you read it. Here's what I mentioned before. Tesla's secret. He said the keys to the universe are three, six, and nine. And when I first heard that, I didn't really understand it. Like when I learned and looked at numerology, it made a lot more sense when I started diving into it. And then, especially, you guys remember I said earlier, 69, that's the year I was born. So 6 and 9, those are two of those prime numbers that are part of the key to the universe. He says if you knew and understood the magnificence of 369, you would have the keys to the universe. So three are for creativity, communication, self-expression. Man, that's my game. That's like not just mine, but I'm sure everybody in here, right? That's the business we're in. We're in the business of creativity and communication and self-expression, ultimately becoming the leader that we want to be, right? Six, balance, harmony, responsibility. Man, I totally vibe with that. Nine, completion, mastery, impact. Those numbers are the creation codes. Align with them to unlock your next level, my friends. Rita, what you got?
So somebody put in the chat that, or asked a question. I think Keisha asked a question about zero. What does, if you have a zero and zero is not a number, then you just have two numbers?
Well, for me, Jorge, I think, is the one that asked that, right? For me, when you're talking about these particular numbers, zero is not a number, it's nothing, right? So, how can you call it a number when it's nothing?
And that's fine. But if your, for example, if your birthday has a nothing in it, like what do you do? Just the two
Well,
numbers?
yeah, just two. So, if it was
Zero,
July 10th as an example, just what about the seven and the one?
Okay.
Right.
zero for me tends to have a duality to it, right?
Sure.
Because a zero is a circle. Circle cannot be without the center.
That's,
Circle, zero is the everything and the nothing at the same time. So usually when you use it, if you factor in zero, you replace it by one because it's the idea of oneness, the infinite or the nothing at the same time.
yeah,
That's
the
usually how
circle,
you factor in.
the circle is the snake eating itself.
Oh, that one is different. That one is the Ouroboros. That is the incompleted circle.
Yeah, but it's still
Yeah,
zero.
yeah.
right? That's what comes to my mind when I think of zero. And then also too, if you want to get deeper, 0 and 1 is binary, which is even
Mm,
more interesting when you get into binary code and understanding that
mm,
stuff. But
mm,
again, the overall message here is to pay attention to your surroundings, what your awareness, spatial awareness is. And if you're seeing numbers that are out there, connect those numbers to something positive that you can use to help propel your life forward. In essence, right? We're talking about programming momentum. That's what this whole story was all about. And then taking those numbers and turning them into triggers, right? But again, if you don't see these things, you don't have the awareness for them, they just pass you by. And to those of you that keep showing up, you're the ones that get the information. Congratulations. Good for you. Because everybody else, if they don't see it, they're never exposed to it, then they'll never find out. Let me put that last slide up for you, Jorge, just for you. Any questions, comments, feedback, concerns? I trust that you guys got some value from this, something to think about, something to have us go forward in our week and have some positive effects. Anybody got anything they want to say? Go ahead,
I
Keisha.
never thought about applying it like that. It's
Oh,
definitely something.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
I
Yeah,
find it interesting that like you use your birthday, right?
yeah,
I never see my birthday anywhere. Like I can say that's a number I have never
sure.
the 602, I mean the 206, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Like it's never crossed my path. It's never been one of those numbers I see in passing. Like I never see it.
Hey, not even in addresses. So to give you guys another idea, right?
No.
My numbers are 719. You know my house address is 709.
709. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Could have been even better if it was five
Hmm.
houses down, to where it was 719. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I see. You can see it doesn't have to be on the clock, and then if it was on the clock, then you'd have to be up early in the morning or pay attention, after 2 o'clock. But I get a
I
lot
know
of
I've been
1234.
around those numbers,
Yeah,
but I never ever see it. That's one number I don't see. I see 210 all the time. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
see, and I see 222 all the time, but I do not. My eyes have never looked up at a clock in my
Here's a
and seen 206.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because here's the thing that maybe you guys aren't doing that I do, right? If I'm buried in my work and I'm doing stuff, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I come up for air, so to speak, is what I call it.
Mhm.
I immediately look at the time. I'm like, oh, like
Mhm.
just now, 12:09. What is the significance of that? Does it tell me anything? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And if it
Well, I
does,
definitely understand what you're saying. I
yeah.
just don't. I just
And a
find that
lot of
particular number.
times I find myself taking that break or that breath of air at 12:34. And that's because I've been working on the website diligently, like you're working on your app, and like I've been going hard and grinding on it to where at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I've been telling myself, okay, that's enough for the day. Like, I'm done. I'm spent. I'm spending those hours that I don't really want to spend, but I need to spend so that I can create something magical. Everybody's gonna love. So, but yeah, numbers, man. Pay attention, see what's going on around you, watch your surroundings. The awareness is really where it's at. You see the numbers. Oh, it's maybe 12:10. That's the time that I go take my walk or take my supplement or whatever it might be, right? So,
I have circles. This coming at a different from a different place.
sure.
My circles are on the wall, my wall. So everything that goes up on the wall, and I'm attracted to circles. So now I'm thinking that, okay, you're chasing your tail, so to speak, because there's circles.
Well, I don't know. Like to me, the circle is important. Like when you say circle, I think of what Virgil was talking about with the whole branding concepts and shapes, circle, triangle, square.
To have an affinity with the circle, I think, is a very strong thing because it's the idea of oneness, and not only that, but like this whole overview, right? When you see it's an infinite loop, it has no beginning, it has no start. So if you have an affinity with that, you tend to have that vision of a bigger picture, or you tend to receive thing more as a whole than as a part, right?
Or you keep
So,
going in circles.
well, it depends on, because going in circles
That was a
is
joke, by the way.
yeah, because our learning cycle, our momentum is something we are locked into a specific. Well, anyways, I'll go into different conversation. I loved chemical conversation. Avogadro also was one of the key topic that I love, and everything is. Well, anyways,
You need to book some time with
actually,
me, Virgil.
yes. Oh man, yes, we need to talk.
Anyway, I trust that you guys got some value again and something to keep you thinking, open your mind up a little bit, and let me know, man. I'd love to hear your stories Monday if some of this actually happened and you saw it because of you being introduced to it and having that awareness moving forward. So I trust it'll help every one of us. And with that being said, go out there, kick ass, take some names, and let's have a fantastic week. We'll see you guys, some of you on How To Tuesday and Wednesday with Virgil and myself. And if nothing else, we'll see you next week. Toot toot, love you. Bye bye.